My name is Richard Hands. I direct at FBN Passivhaus based in Glasgow, and we've specialised in low energy buildings, particularly passive house, both in terms of housing and other sorts of buildings, non-domestics. Generally speaking, it's a simple concept where you have you concentrate on the shell of the building, and you make sure that that is very heavily insulated and also airtight, because obviously you lose heat via the shell of the building, through the walls, the windows, floors, roof, and you can also use it through all of the cracks that occur where materials join together. And in treating the airtightness and also the thermal quality of the building itself from an insulation point of view, you drastically reduce the energy loss through the fabric of the building. The main benefits would be that for most people, they will see, particularly on from a social housing point of view, is their energy bills are very low. We are expecting energy bills for a full year of space heating and hot water to be, roughly speaking, between £100 and £200. Passive house, the main issue when you're introducing passive house to an existing building, it could be a church, it could be a listed property, which is a little more difficult. It's there initially surveying the fabric of the building so that you know where the problems are. So you work out what the actual thermal performance of that building will be, which will also include a pre-air tightness test, so you can see where all the air leaks are. And then you have to then design a structure to actually treat the structure, so you're improving the thermal performance of that building. For instance, at the Carntyne Church, it was quite likely that a WUFI calculation would have been carried out to determine, as you're adding insulation to the external fabric, whether or not there'll be condensation formed within the fabric of the old building, which obviously you don't want. The main differences you'll see with passive house construction in your own home would be the thicker walls, which will include additional insulation. You would also have triple glazed windows and doors, so that again it's much higher levels of insulation there. And you would have a mechanical ventilation heat recovery system, which would ventilate the house continuously with fresh air. It would also extract that air and extract the heat from it, transfer that into the fresh incoming air, so that during the winter times you wouldn't need to open the windows, although you still can. The Passive House Institute recommends that you use sustainable materials. That also benefits the amount of carbon you can capture within the building, but also the general atmosphere. If you've got off-gassing from different materials, for instance formaldehyde, which is obviously not very good for you, or dusts or fibres, it's good to choose materials that don't have these, as well as being recyclable. So it's quite important to actually get that right at an early stage. There are buildings which we know are under construction both in New York and Vienna and such places where we will have passive house construction up more than 24 stories high. So it's going to be, it will actually come to pass that most buildings will be built to this standard or something very close to it. Yeah, the Passive House Institute in Germany has been promoting passive house construction globally. To date, there are only around about 40,000 certified buildings throughout the world, but that is beginning to grow rapidly. Within England, there are currently more than 1,000 buildings which have been certified. In Scotland, it's still around about 10. So, but that's going to grow very rapidly in the next few years, particularly because local authorities and governments are now taking notice of this, and they are including that within their local regulations.